Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The feature race at Santa Anita on Saturday is the Grade 2 San Carlos Stakes going 7 furlongs. You can play it with your new DRF Bets account. Sign up right now, access $100 in free cash. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Let's take a look at this field of talented sprinters running for $250,000 at the Great Race Place on Saturday. Bob Baffert has 2. Let's begin with the morning line favorite, American Anthem, a Keeneland graduate ridden by Mike Smith. This horse came off a little bit of a layoff last time out. Bob put him in a nice non-winners of 3 other than. He got an easy trip on the lead. He had to work, and I think it was good that he had to work on the lead. I think he's ready now for his second start of the form cycle. And the good news about American Anthem is he doesn't need the lead to win. There's speed to his inside.
Absolutely. I mean, he is strictly the horse to beat in here. He's supposed to win, and this is also supposed to be the beginning of what could be a promising campaign for a horse that has always hinted at having serious ability. I thought the way you described that run at Churchill was spot on. I thought it was workmanlike. He had to work a little bit harder, maybe than I would have liked, but I understand coming off of that layoff, he had every right to need to kind of get tightened up a little bit. He should be ready to go this time around. There is just a little part of me that I just don't totally trust him, which I don't know why, but there's just maybe that Oaklawn race from last year when he was a 3-year-old still stings a little bit because I was all in. I thought he was a monster and he just completely bombed. I know what he's capable of on his best day. I just still don't trust him entirely. And
he's going to be a short price, so if you don't trust him entirely, you're supposed to be off him. Although from a fig standpoint, any one of his last 5 races would qualify as this field's best last buyer. The 8 is Dabster. Now this is sort of the other Baffert. We know how that works in Southern California. He's only run 1 bad race in his life, and that was in the Malibu against City of Light, so we can really forgive that performance. He was in really, really tough. The problem is that Baffert has a heck of a time getting him to the races. It seems he runs once or twice and then is sidelined. This is a horse that if he's not out-sprinted early, I think has a chance because he has shown flashes of ability.
I mean, that really is the key to this horse, in my opinion, is how far back is he early on? Because if he gets outrun, I think he's going to have too much to do, and maybe he settles for a minor award. You brought it up. He's only really run 1 terrible race in his entire career. Technically, he's crossed the wire first in the other 4. He got disqualified in his career debut. I mean, but you only have to go 3 starts back to see him beat a horse like City of Light, and we know what City of Light turned into. I think there's a lot of ability here. You also brought it up, though. He's had a whale of a time keeping him sound. I would have to imagine if he's here, he's ready to go.
Let's see where our friends at Timeform have him on the pace projector, and they've got him in mid-pack early, which I don't think is a terrible spot to be in because I'd have to think they're going to be cooking a little bit in this graded stakes sprint. The 2 St. Joe Bay is going to try to get back into the Wayback Machine. He was a multiple graded stakes winner back in 2016, 2017. He ran so well, actually, that he earned a trip to Dubai in 2017. He's gone off form. He's coming off the John Sadler claim. He has speed. He's a talented horse. I think the 7 at this point in his career is pushing it just a bit.
Yeah, and I think you and I both talked about it when he got good late 2016, early 2017. That was one of the softer times in Southern California for sprinters, and he just caught fields that I think he was simply better than. He went over to Dubai. I'm not going to fault them for taking a shot there. But since he's come back and since he returned in the middle of last year, he just hasn't regained that form. And again, I hate to say it, this is kind of the form that we had seen prior to that time that he got good. I would expect him to be out there, and I'd expect him to feel the heat late.
The number 6 is Touching Rainbows, and fans of Touching Rainbows have to be very happy with this pace projector if they believe that St. Joe Bay is not the St. Joe Bay of old, because if Touching Rainbows is sitting second off St. Joe Bay, there's a very good chance turning into the stretch that this razor-sharp gelding is going to take over the lead. He's won 5 out of his last 6 starts on dirt, the only loss coming by a neck. Again, this is a big step up in class, but this horse has got to be feeling a tremendous amount of confidence right now.
Very sharp. D'Amato's done a really good job with him. You retain Pratt with the mount here. I have to be honest, you go back and watch that now, orange the 3 other than Mo Candy, if he does what, well, I mean, look, we know what Mo Candy does. He doesn't change leads, but Mo Candy's supposed to win that race, and I get it. It was a game effort from Touching Rainbows, but to me, that I wonder if that showed a little bit of a crack in the armor that, you know what, if you're having an issue handling Mo Candy at this point in Mo Candy's career, how are you going to handle these horses?
Stone Hands has hit the board in his last 6 races. He has just gotten better with maturity. It looked like early in his career he was just going to be a high-priced yearling disappointment. He sold for $180,000. That's a lot higher than Tapizar's stud fee. But he's gotten good recently. Buyer speed figures in the low to mid-90s, and I think he can be a little bit closer to the pace than Timeform has him. He's the 7.
I think he's a game little horse. I like everything about him. The only concern might be in a spot like this, is he fast enough? Is he good enough to win? Because on Figs, he's a little bit on the light side.
Let's take a look at a formulator fact for one of the bigger priced horses in this race. The number 1 Top of the Game. Boy, it's been a wild ride for Top of the Game. Triple-digit Beyer speed figure winner of a stakes race in October. He ran in the big cap and was only 10-1 against Accelerate 2 starts back. Last time out, they dumped him for 62.5, but he was claimed by a shrewd trainer, Ryan Hansen. And let's take a look at that formulator fact for Top of the Game. Blinkers on older horses on dirt, 27%, a 237 ROI, and that was a pretty live optional claim. A couple horses came back to win, and the winner, Hoffenheim, has placed in his 2 subsequent starts at Belmont with Beyers of 92 and 95.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it. Top of the game. You want to talk about just an up and down sort of stretch for him. That 104 in the Comet at the top, he was awesome. He came back and he was stopped cold in the Native Diver. I thought he was a winner there on the far turn before he had to stop. And the problem is, then they went to the turf with him. And keep in mind, this was also a horse that he had a long layoff before that Comet at the top. So it felt like it was always trying to keep him together and keep him sound and happy. When they dump him in and he's taken, I don't know what we're going to get out of him here. The blinkers go on. It's a positive move, as you just pointed out, but there's just a part of me that says, I don't know what you're going to get.
I think you and I always thought that El Huerfano was sort of a middle distance speed type that could do well when given the right pace scenario, but he's actually done well sprinting in his career, and Peter Miller knows a thing or two about getting these sprinters good. Roy H., St. Joe Bay in his day. Maybe El Huerfano has found a home going 7 furlongs, but again, he was in for a tag 2 back and he got beat.
I think the tough thing, too, with El Huerfano is, in my opinion anyway, he's at his best when he's on the lead. And if you believe St. Joe Bay, drawn just to the inside, is going to go, boy, aren't you just kind of setting yourself up for a pretty serious pressure cooker up on the front end? And at that point, with both of those horses at this point in their career, I don't think that would be a good thing.
John Sadler has the 5-horse Greedy in here off of the claim. He also claimed St. Joe Bay out of his most recent start. Here's a formulator fact for Sadler regarding horse Greedy. Off the claim, 31 to 44-day layoffs on dirt, 25% winners, a $3 ROI. This horse got a nice fig last time out, but I needed to see him do more against those 40,000 non-winners of one other.
Yeah, that's fair. I kind of look at him as a fringe contender, a horse that's best used underneath. Like you say, that fig most recently was nice. Go 4 starts back prior to that, trying the triple bend. Thought that was a good effort, winning at 40-1. He's the kind of horse, again, take him at a big number. If he takes any kind of money, maybe that is something to take note of. But to me, he's the kind of horse at a big number used underneath.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 2 San Carlos Stakes. We're both going with Baffert. You're going with the better priced Baffert. We like turnbacks at 7. You're getting the cutback with Dabster.
Again, it really boils down to how far back is he going to be. I want him to be within reasonable range, 2 to 3 lengths, not 6 or 7, because if he's that far back, I just don't think he's going to be able to get over the hump. I think American Anthem, strictly the horse to beat in here, but I'll just take a shot with the other Baffert and go 8-4-6.
And listen, this is the pattern that worked for Dabster at Del Mar. 3 starts back, long layoff, cutting back from a mile to 7, and he was able to win it very nicely over City of Light, who we talked about. It's a very talented horse. Matt's going Dabster. I think it's Baffert. I think American Anthem's going to sit from off of the pace. And as Matt said, he should win this race off Figs. It's kind of an important race to show where he is. If he wins, we can go on and try tougher horses. Maybe the Roy H's of the world next time out in Southern California. If not, it could be back to the drawing board. 4-8-5-2 for me in the Grade 2 San Carlos, a race which you can bet with your own DRF Bets account. Sign up, access $100 in free cash. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the Grade 2 San Carlos, 5:28 Pacific. Best of luck.